we're back.
And we're back.
We're back.
A little spring break moment.
Spring break.
Spring break.
Spring break forever. Yeah, not that kind of spring break for us. But the girls have been traveling. The girls are worldly. And we've taken some time off. And now we're back. And similar to F1 drivers, we had to relax and recharge for a little bit. Come back better than ever. And I think we are.
You know what? Again, we're like, oh, we needed a break, as if we didn't just take a very long break. Anyway, we have a spectacular show for you guys today.
Spectacular show. You guys, this is also something fun for you to know, is that speaking of Nicole just absolutely hustling all the time, we don't speak anymore. So these episodes truly, like, this is the first time we've talked in probably 3 weeks since the last time we recorded an episode.
That's not true. Don't slander me. I replied to your text messages.
Yeah, but we haven't spoken. And also, you reply to 1 out of 10 text messages.
I am my mother's daughter. I don't know what you want me to say.
I'm just saying that the reason that these episodes get so long and chaotic is because we don't speak in between.
Anyway, let's talk about motorsports.
Hey, what if we talked about motorsports on our motorsport podcast?
And you know what? Actually, what if we introduce the show?
Crazy. I guess we could try that out.
Okay, guys. Hi. Welcome back to TG1F at F1 Podcast with Kate and Nicole. We're your hosts. I'm Nicole.
I'm Kate.
And this is our show. It's a show where we talk about going on vacation. We talk about not speaking. We talk about Formula One. And that's the gist. So, welcome.
Basically, TLDR. There's whatever we want.
And we make the rules. So.
And we make the rules.
What's the thing from Whose Line Is It Anyway, where the points are made up and the rules don't matter? You know what I'm talking about?
I think that might have been.
It's a version of it.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, it's a great show for you today, guys. We have a lot to talk about. We have an agenda today. And you guys know it's serious fucking business when the girls get on the mic and say, we have an agenda. We have an agenda. We have talking points. We have discussion questions. So it's about to be serious. Buckle up. I'm going to give you a little rundown, the agenda, if you will, of our episode.
One might say.
Segment 1. First off, we'll be talking about Max Verstappen. Is it the end of an era? TBD, we'll let you know. Then we're going into the 2026 regulations. Why they're a mess, but why maybe they won't be for much longer. What's going on? You'll find out. Then we're going into Mercedes and Kimi Antonelli. Then going on to the struggle bus, we're talking about Aston Martin, and we're talking about Red Bull, and kind of, hey, what's going on over there, guys? Are you okay? Blink twice if you need help. Then we're going off track for some more kind of like fun things, like more vibe checks on F1.
We're going off track, literally and figuratively.
Correct. And then we're gonna give you a little preview of what's coming up with motorsports. It's been a minute since we've been on the mic, so we're gonna talk about Miami coming up, and we're gonna talk about MotoGP back in Jerez this weekend, and why you should be watching that while F1 is still on break. So that's a little bit of what we're gonna be talking about. Who knows if we'll get to all of it? But here we go. Let's start with Max Verstappen. Nicole, is he going to retire? Yes or no?
The man loves theatrics. He trained at the Toto Theatrical School of Drama. He went to Toto's Thespian Camp. Okay? This man, I feel like, has been threatening to leave this sport for the past 3 years.
But do we think it's more credible now?
Do I think it's going to happen next year? No. Obviously, we know that Max's head engineer, Lambiase, is heading over to McLaren.
Is Lambiase, not Lambiase. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa. The girls have to giggle.
Okay. Anyway, We know he's heading over to McLaren for the chief.
It's chief racing officer.
I was gonna say CRO, but that didn't. I wouldn't know if I was making that up in my mind as a fake job, as most C-suite jobs are, right? Anyway,
Amen.
so he's making that transition over in 2028. So people are kind of hypothesizing that Max has hinted that he will be out by 2028.
Once he kind of made the announcement that he was going to McLaren, I feel like everyone was like, okay, well, that's like guaranteed because Max has been like, as soon as he leaves, like, I'm retiring, I'm done. But I feel like there's also another camp of people that are like, Max is kind of McLaren's wet dream. So, like, could this mean maybe he's thinking about making a switch for the first time in his F1 career? Or do we think that he wants to retire a Red Bull driver, or does he not give a fuck about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I don't think he cares, but I could envision a world where he's like, I'm out. Next season, he's like,
100%.
I'm out, but then he comes back.
Always going to do an Alonso.
I can envision that happening for him because I think that he might get a little bored.
Yeah, but I also think that he has like other things that he's talked about like wanting to do. Like he wants to do 24 hours of Le Mans. So I feel like there's like other things that he wants to do. So the difference I feel like with Max versus maybe some other athletes like in this realm is that like I truly do think that like his passion is just like racing. Like he just like loves to race. Like he wants to do like he does e-racing, he does like all these other things. I think he has like other series that he might want to like check off his list, and he's just like maybe he's over F1, like maybe he's done it enough. He's kind of reached the peak of what he can do, and he's like, all right, I'm kind of ready for the next challenge.
It's kind of incredibly mentally healthy.
So, which crazy, unexpected. But I do feel like there's like other drivers. I don't know if I would say most other drivers, but I feel like F1 is the pinnacle, and that's like all they've ever really wanted to do. Like, I mean, you look at Danny even, where I feel like Danny at one point, if he had had Max's career, would have been like, I don't need to do F1 anymore. Like, I'm gonna go do IndyCar. I'm gonna do rally. I'm gonna do WEC. I'm gonna do like all these other things. I mean, his circumstances in which he left F1 was different, but I'm actually kind of surprised that he didn't do any others, where I feel like a lot of other drivers would be like F1 or bust. Like if I'm not in F1 anymore, like I'm not racing anymore, really.
Yeah, Max is sort of sitting under that fig tree and saying, there's a lot of life paths for me. Let me pick them all. And I love that for him.
All right, I'm just singing Hamilton in my head.
Which is
that old vine and fig tree. When Washington's singing One Last Time.
Yes. I don't know the lyrics as strongly as you do as a theater kid. So I don't know that exact reference, but I love that for you.
Alex does. I see her nodding. She knows. And the people listening will know. I know my people will know.
Yeah, your people will get it.
The Kates of the world. Anyways, yeah.
It'll be interesting. I think at this point, though, it's like a little boy who cried wolf, that when he finally does announce his retirement, I'm going to be like, okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that he's saying all of this now in like a moment where he is like not winning. And a lot of people are looking at it being like, hey, are you serious? Or like, is it just because you're not winning? And I think that like time will tell, because I think obviously it's like 50-50. Either he is kind of whining and being like, I'm gonna retire because like I'm not winning anymore, which could very much be it, or like he's been very vocal about the regulations and being like, I don't enjoy this racing. And like I said, like I think his like true passion is just like racing cars. So like if he's not enjoying like the fundamental like concept of racing, then that's maybe where this is coming from too, versus just being like, I'm unhappy with the regulations because I'm not winning, but more I'm unhappy with the regulations because it's making like the whole aspect of this sport unenjoyable. Which other drivers obviously have said that they are not enjoying the regulations either. Which brings us
perfect
so
segue
nicely into the 2026 regs. Are they broken? Question mark. And I think they were. But the FIA announced on April 20th updates to the regulations. So hopefully people will be happier going into Miami, because that's when the regulations, the changes are going to take effect. So let's background info.
Yeah.
What people are upset about is the energy management regulations. I feel like that's like the big portion of these regulations.
And when we say people, we mean like the drivers.
Correct.
We don't really care what the fans think.
Apparently, F1 is being accused.
Comment gate.
The accused, of hiding critical fan replies on social media and pushing a positive narrative through commentators. Propaganda. They're absolutely propagandizing these regulations. Crazy work. But the FIA had a review meeting on April 9th, 15th, 16th, and 20th. And as of the 20th, announced immediate regulation changes starting in Miami, directly responding to safety concerns, driver feedback, and the first 3 races of the season. That kind of gave a sample size of like what's going on. So here's what's gone wrong. Let's start on the Debbie Downer, new regulations, what's gone wrong. So Ollie Behrman's crash in Suzuka was caused by massive speed differentials from energy harvesting, which basically means that drivers that are on different deployment modes, because what we talked about in our episode about the new regulations is that it's like 50% regular power and 50% like battery power. So you can like, it's just like, so drivers can be going at vastly different speeds at different parts of the track, or on the same part of the track, based on how they're using their like energy reserves and how they're like powering up and conserving energy or not. So because of that, Ollie Behrman and other drivers were going at different speeds, which made a horrible crash in Suzuka. So drivers are able to lift and coast way too early on the straights, which saw Max lose 31 miles per hour through 130R at Suzuka. If anyone knows what that means, good for you. But Carlos, who is the new Grand Prix Drivers Association director, good for him.
What happened? George got voted out?
I don't know. Maybe he quietly stepped aside to focus on being hall monitor instead. But he said that the drivers warned the FIA about these issues before the season and were ignored. Which I'm not going to say that that's right and that they should have been ignored, but I think also people are very scared of change. And sometimes you do need to let things happen and see what happens first. Like sometimes you got to throw the spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. You know what I'm saying? Like they had to at least test these out for a couple races. I get it. Like, okay, we hear your concerns, but also like there's nothing to back that up yet. Like we need to like test it out. I don't know. So anyways, that's what's gone wrong. So what has changed as of today? Let me tell you. So energy management or super clipping fixes. So they increased the recharge limit from 250,000 watts to 350,000 watts, which will reduce extreme lift and coast behavior. Okay. I'm saying these things as if I know, but guys, I'm just reading. I'm reading. I have this down and you can, it's not my job to educate you actually, so you can go off and do your own research on what this means because I'm doing my best.
Guys, it's giving just repeat it at the bar and you'll just they're lifting and coasting.
People are gonna think
they're lifting and coasting, you guys. They're lifting and coasting.
You guys, you fold it in. You're folding in the cheese. You just fold it in. They are reducing the max harvesting in qualifying, which will encourage more flat out laps. So basically, that one I do kind of understand.
Yeah.
So people are not going to be able to like harvest a ton of power in qualifying anymore. So it'll just be like straight up, how fast can you go on this lap? Like what qualifying is supposed to be. Overtake boost is capped at 150,000 watts to limit dangerous closing speeds.
That makes sense.
And then I have no idea what MGUK deployment split by sector is. So do with that what you will. Safety mechanisms are some new additions to these regulations. So low power start detection systems. So like with these new engines, we've seen in a couple of these first races that there's been times when cars are kind of slow to start, which like can be super dangerous because a car from behind could not be slow to start and like hit them. And
Right.
it's like, because you can't necessarily know that. So there's a new low power start detection system. And so when that happens, they also have new flashing rear and lateral warning lights for slow launching cars. So like other drivers will be able to see like, okay, Ollie Behrman is just like in my head. So like his car is slow to start. I can tell. So I'm going to like avoid him so that I don't crash into him. And then also wet weather adjustments. So there's reduced ERS power and higher tire blanket temps for intermediate. So when it's wet, the tire blanket covers can be hotter so that the tires basically stay warmer and can like make it safer in the wet conditions, which is good.
Okay.
So here's some discussion questions, Nicole. I have some questions for you. What do we think of these updates? I mean, so they said that they came out today and they were agreed to by obviously the FIA, by the teams, and by other people.
I would have loved to be in the negotiating room for that. I want to know what the drivers brought to the table, what got cut. I want to know what they actually wanted, you know? Feels like they unionized. They went to the FIA.
Well, I did get got by an April Fool's prank because Instagram is doing a thing now where it like doesn't show you things in order. Like it'll show you something at the top of your feed from like 6 days ago.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of fake. And so especially for me, someone very gullible, very trusting, April Fool's Day is harder for me. And so a couple days after, my guard is lowered back down.
Yeah.
So I saw a post that said that the drivers unionized and said if the regulations don't change, they're striking. They're going on strike and they're boycotting Miami and they weren't going to race. And I was like, oh, damn. Like, they're really taking a stand. And then I was like, damn it. Same for Fool's joke.
I'm dead.
But they kind of did. It was like a believable joke because like they did kind of take a stand. So proud of them.
You know, I think
speaking up for what they believe in.
I think only time will tell if this is like, again, it's only been 3 races.
Yeah.
So it's not like I have much to go off of in terms of like an opinion on what these new regulations, like, honestly, I've been enjoying the racing so far. Like I do like the added element of the strategy. I think it's like a fun new addition, especially as like someone watching at home. Like I like the new graphics. I like the new kind of like way that the drivers work with their race engineers. But I'm not a professional race car driver, nor am I someone who is incredibly smart in the engineering department. So I'm like, I actually don't know. I don't know if these are going to be good or not.
Yeah. I'm team I want everyone to have fun, and so I really hope that this makes the drivers happy and they are enjoying their time again.
I just don't want everyone to be miserable. Those are my friends out there, and
those are my friends driving around, and I want them to be safe, and I want them to have fun. Be safe, have fun.
2 rules. That's it.
Why be upset when you can just have fun? You know what I'm saying?
And be safe while doing that.
While doing that. Why be unsafe when you can also be having fun? And you know who's having a lot of fun so far? Kimi Antonelli, most specifically. So let's talk about it.
Your son.
My son. Oh, I'm so proud of him. So he's leading the championship right now. Crazy. He's the youngest championship leader, I think. So exciting. I love this for him. So essentially what a lot of people are, if the regulations stayed the same, it was looking like it's basically an internal war at Mercedes for the championship. So I mean, again, only time will tell how these new regulation updates.
It's just crazy because it's again only been 3 races. It's only been 3 races and the like season's over.
They do this every year, though, dude. Like, Max will win the first 3 races, and they're like, "It's over. It's done." And it's like people get so, like, set after, like, just a couple races. It's very funny. But, like, Mercedes has been, like, really crushing it, like, where I feel like we haven't seen, like, a total team dominance like this in a while because we've seen Red Bull dominating, but, like, we obviously have seen struggles with the second driver, where this is Mercedes 1-2 every single time. Um, like, so George won Australia, and then Kimi won China and Japan, and, like, I don't know, like, it's looking and, like, they're always in a 1-2. It's like it's looking very dominant from them, but again, the regulations did just get updates, so, like, maybe that will change and make things a little bit more even, but right now, Kimi is on a quote, unquote, "record-breaking run." He is the youngest pole sitter, fastest lap scorer, race leader, championship leader, and hat trick scorer.
Hell yeah, brother.
It'll be interesting to see what happens, but I feel like Toto is absolutely having a hard on right now. Like, he's living his dream life right now. He's like, I never thought I'd be here again."
He said after Valtteri and Lewis, and after Nico and Lewis, I never thought. And he said, I'm going 3 for 3.
Yeah. He's thrilled. So I think it'll be an interesting I also think it's kind of an interesting dynamic of with Kimi having won 2 out of the first 3 races. I think obviously we saw in Drive Survive from last season, and we watched it happen last season, like, he was successful, but he was struggling, and it was definitely, like, you saw clips of George being like, "Yeah, Kimi is, he's great, but he's, like, really struggling and needs to, like, kind of, like, pick it up, for, like, what this team is expecting right now." And now to see him kind of come back with a vengeance this season has been really cool, but I also, like, I do wonder what it's like there. I feel like George has, like, cut his teeth for years, like, struggled through the Williams years.
He made that PowerPoint, for Christ's sake.
He made the PowerPoint, all right? He made the PowerPoint. He stuck it out at Williams for a while, finally got his chance at Mercedes, was with Lewis, which, like, is tough. And then finally, I feel like got his, like, chance to be, like, team leader and, like, number 1 driver and, like, has been like, "Yeah, I've been working for this." And now this young kid just comes in and is like, "Psych." So I'm very curious of, like, how that is going, and also if this continues, how George is gonna respond. Like, how like, I feel like there's 2 ways it could go. Either it makes him work, like, that much harder, and he's, like, really motivated, and, like, they're having, like, all-out battles all season, or if he gets, like, kind of shaken by it and kind of, like, crashes and burns.
Who's to say? Only time will tell. We could have a Danny Lando situation on our hands. Who's to say?
Oh my god. Say it ain't so.
The thing is, it's not above George to hire a Nazi witch to curse.
So true.
He would do that.
He definitely would.
Kimi Antonelli an evil eye bracelet right now.
Someone buy it for him. He can't buy it on his own. He needs it.
Get him that protection, please.
Please. I'm begging. I also feel like I would be curious because it does feel like it could end up being a sort of Danny Max Red Bull situation where Danny had been at Red Bull, was kind of like their golden child for a long time. And then Max came in and was, like, so successful. And, like, I don't know, George learned from the past because I think Danny made the decision to
Leave.
walk away from that, and nothing was ever the same for him. And so it's like, do you learn from that or?
Giving that clip from Interstellar when he's like in the bookcase and he's like, no, don't let him leave his nerve. And then that's like Danny like talking to George from the future, like,
Yeah, literally. I'm gonna be intrigued to see how that dynamic plays out and if there's kind of like a power struggle in Mercedes and if it's gonna like remind us of the Red Bull.
yeah, it's giving great
Era.
tragedy.
Yeah. Remember the past, boys. Remember the Alamo. Right? So, we'll see. And before we get to the more vibey part of this podcast. We gotta talk about the strugglers, the struggle bus. Who's on the struggle bus? Aston Martin and Red Bull.
Beep, beep.
Beep, beep. The struggle bus is here. And Aston Martin, I feel like this was not expected.
Oh, everyone was like, they got Fonda. They got Nui. They're going to crush it.
And like, what was it? Was it last year that everyone was like, Aston Martin's going to win the championship? Like, they are again, after the first 3 races, they had been doing great and everyone was like, they're winning. So once again, you can't trust the first 3 races. But I'm just like, what happened? Because they got Nui, and I feel like that was like huge get. They got the white whale, and what the fuck went down? Like, what is going on? That's supposed to be like the race car magician.
Literally.
They haven't scored any points. They couldn't finish the first 2 races. Did they even finish the 3rd race? Can't remember. Without fears of their drivers like dying or getting permanent nerve damage. Like, sorry, that's insane. And like Lance is literally like, yeah, we're having our own championship at the back of the grid. Like, we're just having an Aston Martin championship to see who between the 2 of us can like do better. Cause like they're not competing against anyone. Like, it feels crazy.
At what point do you just say, I'm not doing this anymore? Like, sorry, Lance, you've actually had plenty of opportunity to retire. And yet you're going through this. I don't feel bad for you, by the way.
It's just like, hey, listen, what have we said in the past? If we could Freaky Friday with a driver on the grid, I'm picking one that's not doing well. So there's 0 pressure on me. I'm just getting to drive my little car and make millions of dollars. Fine.
Sorry, actually, are you choosing Aston Martin where they're getting nerve damage?
Well, no, because I wouldn't finish the race. I wouldn't even have to finish a race. Like, I wouldn't even have to do that. Like, I'm kind of like, they're kind of living the dream, actually. They get to do this. They get to say they're an F1 driver. They don't even have to finish a race. There's no pressure. And they're making millions of dollars.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right. Alonso's a new dad. He doesn't care. He's already won a championship. He's in it for the money. He's got a college fund to pad. He said she's fine. It's fine.
It's like you're getting free world tour.
This is gonna ruin the tour.
This is gonna ruin the world tour. If the car gets better and they get pressure to be good and then they don't and they get fired, that's gonna ruin the world tour. So I don't know. And then Red Bull, I feel like, is just kind of, the dominoes are just falling. Like, Max is threatening to quit.
You're talking about someone who bought an Etsy witch, Christian Horner.
Yeah.
And Christian Horner had said, no weapons raised against me shall prosper. And Red Bull shall never win another championship without me, by the way.
He has like a whole lineup of voodoo dolls. And it's for he has hundreds of voodoo dolls, and it's every single person that has anything to do with Red Bull.
No one is safe.
Max is P9 in the championship right now, which feels crazy.
There was ever a point in his career where he was P9.
Like, maybe his first season, but I don't know.
He came in rip-roaring, so I don't even know.
Right. I have no idea. And then there's, like, everyone's leaving. Like, Nui left last year. Lambiase is going to McLaren. A bunch of other people from their team have left. So I feel like, you know what? I feel like they're about to enter a new era at Red Bull. Like, I feel like Christian Horner left, and like they're molting right now. The snake is shedding its skin.
You know, it's darkest before dawn, guys. Once you hit rock bottom, it's only up from there. So let's look at this with silver linings. Aston Martin, people, you know, like, guys, upward trajectory from here. Okay.
But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There always is.
There always is.
So there's always, you know what? After rain, there's a rainbow. So Red Bull fans, you'll get through this, I promise. All right, now for the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some off-track shenanigans.
Favorite subject.
First off, we got to talk about Coachella, Biebercella, Lewis and Kim Cella, Danny Cella, Valtteri Cella, It's the Cella.
Coachella.
Everything Cella, everything hallelujah, everything Cella.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm not over the Kim and Lewis hard launch at Coachella.
Okay, hard launch, soft launch.
Ye-
Well, I guess they hard launch being together.
They were
but,
like out in the American public.
But like her Instagram, I'm like, ma'am, you're 45 years old. Quit soft launch.
It was kind of a perfect soft launch, though, by the way.
It
Like,
wasn't, right?
putting
It
that on
wasn't
my
really-
Pinterest board for when I soft launch a man.
Yeah, like it was really good. But yeah, so Kim and Lewis, really, really official, actually got like papped at Nobu.
And you know it's official when you take someone to Nobu.
And you know it's official when Kim Kardashian allows herself to be papped at Nobu.
Yeah.
Like that's her spot. Like that's her spot to call the paparazzi. So it's legit. They're saying we're here and oh my God. Do you think they're going to go to the Met Gala together? Like, do you think they're going to show up to the Met Gala
100%.
to get arm in arm?
Wait. Yes.
No, I feel like they are. Like I feel like they definitely are.
It's going to be.
Although, has Kim ever gone with anyone? Because, I mean, she went with Kanye like once or twice, but I don't really feel like they ever really went together.
No, they went together. When she was pregnant and she had the.
Did they?
Yeah. They went several times together while they were married.
Yeah, well, I said like once or twice, but I don't feel like they went every year that they were married. So I don't think she's ever gone with any. She didn't go with Pete. Were they still together last year?
No.
Or whenever they were together? They weren't together during the Met Gala?
I think Lewis is a very
were?
different breed than Pete, what's his name? I can't remember his last name
Pete
right.
Davidson.
Yeah.
You're right.
She's showing up to the Met
yeah.
Gala with
You're right.
Lewis Hamilton. I'm sorry. And if it is a fake relationship, they're definitely showing up together.
You're right. No, I think they really are. Okay, I'm so excited. Okay, but then that also begs the question, do we think she'll be in Miami the night before with him, and then they'll like that will be like a big hard launch weekend for them?
Yes. I think she is capitalizing on this right now. I think Lewis brings a very good image to her image.
Yeah.
I think that
Agreed.
with all of the crazy shit Kanye's been got going on in the discourse right now, she needs someone who is squeaky clean.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
Lewis
Agreed.
Lewis doing that ad for Perplexity, being like, I AI everything. I ask AI to write my emails. I ask it to do my meal plan. It's like, I love AI. I'm like, okay, Lewis, Mr. Environmentalism, settle down. Okay.
Yeah, literally. Let's figure out what we're really standing for here. All right. Yeah, I'm intrigued where this goes and like what the peak of it is going to be. It's going to be really interesting, but I'm looking at that first weekend in May closely. Other people that were randomly at Coachella, Danny and Valtteri
together, which is crazy. The two Australians.
Just the two Australian F1 drivers at Coachella together. I was like, this is a pairing that I like never really contemplated. What are you guys doing together?
But I love it.
I don't know. I mean, I did love it. So I hope that they had fun. I feel like here's the thing is I just like don't picture Valtteri as like a Coachella guy. So it was like so interesting that like of all of the current F1 drivers that like he was the one that was there.
I feel like Valtteri is much more a Burning Man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's definitely Burning Man. Like he would wear his budgie smugglers. He's wearing glitter on his face. Like Valtteri's at Burning Man for sure. I would have expected Pierre
at Coachella.
At Coachella.
Yeah. Pierre feels like absolutely Coachella is his scene, but instead Pierre was hanging out with his arch nemesis, Esteban Ocon.
Dude, we have to discuss.
They like have been hanging out.
What do you mean? I mean, I guess it was like all of the French drivers like at like together, but like they're sitting next to each other. I was like, this feels like a crazy lineup because it was them and Isaac. It was them and Isaac, and I don't know.
And you know
Just
what?
crazy.
Then Esteban's on that the French show with the good lighting, and he's never looked hotter in his entire life. By the way, I'm like, hello.
I think Pierre and Isaac were on that too.
Well,
Like I think they were all on that.
I just saw the clips of Esteban, so
Well, yeah.
that's none of my business what those
Well,
were in there. And they've all just been, and then the other boys were at the Monaco Open, Monaco Masters, at the tennis.
As they always are.
Ollie Bierman's wearing the crazy little sun hat, and he's pulling it off, by the way.
Yeah, by the way.
I just
like very well, might I add.
I just love them so much. I'm glad that they're having such a good time hanging out together.
They got an unexpectedly long spring break, and they're all really maximizing it.
Yeah. Did you see?
Do you think Charles is pissed? Do you think he's like, oh man, we like could have had our big wedding?
Yeah, probably.
We had all this time off, like we could have had a big wedding.
Arvid's little Tokyo vlog that he did, his little Japan vlog, was so good too.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're being fed with content, off track content.
Yeah, we are.
I know
we really are.
2020, 2021 us would have been frothing at the mouth.
Yeah.
This level of content. You guys don't know how good you have it now. Count your blessings.
Really. Count your blessings that you didn't have to go through the trenches like us.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm happy that they're all happy right now. And it's always I love an F1 break because I love to see what everyone's like getting up to. Like what are we doing for fun? Carlos is just biking and golfing and biking and having so much fun. And
Alex,
I just love it. I love this for them.
Alex is out here doing the American dream. He's out here at the Dodgers Stadium. Good old America pastime.
Yeah.
Eating dogs, watching them throw that baseball around. Good for him.
He's loving it. Yeah, he said no Coachella.
Not for me. You know what we didn't cover though? The fact that our men, Kimi and Bez, out on Valentino Rossi's
I know it.
Riding those
segue into MotoGP
motorcycles.
Yeah, that was a very important photo for me. Our man Marco Bezzecchi and Kimi Antonelli hanging out, being like, "Hey, just two Italian boys," and I just loved it. I was like, "Hey, those are our two guys. Like, those are our two friends."
My word of advice, though, Kimi, do not let Marco rub off on you. Do not start wearing jorts.
Kimi,
enough.
Look me in the eyes.
Be serious right now.
He's so serious right now. Don't. Did we see Marco in jorts?
Yes.
Was he wearing jorts that weekend? Okay. They all do. It's very, like, I feel like they're a subsect of Europeans where they come from, like, there are F1 drivers from those countries, but the F1 drivers aren't wearing the jorts.
No.
They used to, though. They used to be wearing the jorts. But I think everyone in F1 now has like American stylists probably, or like stylists that are like, hey, the jorts are out.
Yeah.
Which is good. Did you see the video that I posted on our story today of Fabio rating his best outfits?
Yes.
Notably, not one with jorts in it. So I said, the next time we are at MotoGP, I will be having him rate every pair of jorts that he owns. And I'll be finding photos and having him be like, scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
And that's my plan for him.
Fabios.
A lot of jorts content.
Count your days.
And happy birthday.
Anyway, MotoGP this weekend. We're Bass, baby, so we don't have
this weekend. We're in Jerez, Spain, España. And if you want to know what all the hype is about that we've been going on and on and on and on and on about for the past month, just watch this weekend and you will get it. It's a very similar structured weekend to F1. We've got practices happening on Friday. We've got qualifying on Saturday. We've got a sprint race on Saturday, and we've got the regular race on Sunday. So take a watch. The only big things to know there is that the best thing I think about MotoGP is that every single session that they go out matters, means something. So their practice sessions count, and based on the times in practice, lets them know which qualifying sessions they get to go in, whether they have to do Q1 or if they just get to go straight to Q2. Qualifying obviously shows where they're gonna start the race on Sunday, and then they have a sprint race which counts towards the championship too. So every single session that you watch means something for the championship, which I think is really cool. And they're just doing some crazy shit out there.
It's crazy.
They're just doing some crazy stuff. And
Guys, the best part is
it's really fun to watch.
they have butt cams. Butt cams, you guys.
They have butt cams.
Do I need to say more?
The butt cams.
Ah,
Need we say more?
no. Get on over
That's
there.
how you know who you're watching, is that they zoom in on their butts and that's where they have their names written.
It's like juicy paint.
It's incredible.
It's incredible stuff.
It's literally,
They're living
it's so amazing.
in 2036. I was thinking of 2008.
2036.
They're living in
2026.
2026. Okay. They're 1,000 years ahead of us.
Yeah.
Okay. With their names on their butts and they know what they're doing. Okay.
They know what they're doing.
And guys, if you're
they know
wondering,
what they're doing it for.
there's a lot of ways that you can watch MotoGP here in the United States.
Yeah.
Okay. On the Fox Sports 1 channel, FS1 or FS2, depending on. You can watch it on Fubo, DirecTV, or the Fox Sports app, or there's a 24/7 MotoGP channel on Prime Video, Fire TV. So there you go.
No excuses not to be watching. We don't have F1 this weekend, so get your motorsports fix in. Watch MotoGP. You will be addicted because we are.
And those are also our friends now too, by the way. So go support our friend.
Kind of more our friends. Like we actually bonded with them. So those are like our real life friends.
Yeah.
I hope they miss us this weekend. Everyone, if you're listening and you were part of our amazing MotoGP weekend in Austin, I hope you miss us. Bring us back. We're available any day, anytime. We'll be back. So just yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it this weekend. We'll definitely be watching. And we'll be back next week with a very fun episode with a potential special guest. So let us know your guesses on who's special guesting with us next week. But in the meantime, we will see you on the internet.
Bye, guys.
Bye.